Have you ever said yes when every part of you wanted to say no? Well, guess what? You're not alone. This is called people pleasing or pleasing people, whichever one you prefer. They both mean the same, however you want to say it. It doesn't really matter. Hi, I'm Alla and I'm Melbourne Psychic Medium. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Soul Diary. And today we're talking about people pleasing. Um, so we need to ask ourselves, who are you trying to please? What are you afraid of? What will happen if you don't? It can be so frustrating when we're always trying to please people and do best for other people and put everyone else before us that we tend to forget about ourselves. A great way to keep track of people pleasing is why don't you try journaling all the yeses you've said? And then journal all the no's you've said and see which one wins. Which path are you taking more of? Are you taking more of the yeses, or are you setting those boundaries and saying no's? Some great signs to share with you about people pleasing. If you're always saying yes, even when you're overwhelmed, feeling guilty for setting boundaries, who feels that? Or when you're, those people that are always saying sorry constantly for over apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry for that. Oh, I'm sorry for this. Stop apologizing. Stop seeking reassurance constantly. You don't need it. Avoiding conflict, prioritizing harmony over, like, at all costs. Do you have difficulties making decisions on your own? Do you always need somebody else to make that decision for you? These are all part of people pleasing. So these are the things and the signs that you need to take notice of. They usually, with people pleasing, it usually drowns out your own intuition. So when we're too busy people pleasing and listening to others and what they want and following through what they need, we drown out our own intuition. We quiet that little inner voice, that little voice that's giving us all that information we need, that guidance that we need, that path that we need to take, what's best for us and our growth and our own fulfillment. Because we're too busy seeking approval from other people and we're suppressing our ability to follow our divine guidance. So it's so important to not please others at the cost of disconnecting from your own true self. When was the last time that you acted on your gut intuition for fear of disappointing others? When was that? These are really great things to ask yourself. When you're people pleasing or pleasing others or pleasing people, you're diverting energy from your spiritual journey and you're actually delaying your own personal growth. These are the things that you need to consider, because what's happening is you're actually always putting yourself second and never putting yourself first. You're draining yourself. You're draining your own spiritual energy. You're leaving very little for self-care, for self-love, for reflection and connection with yourself, with your own higher self. And you're put here to nurture yourself, to nurture your soul, and to deepen your own connection with the universe. But what's really happening is you're giving it all away just to get that reassurance from somebody else, to make someone else happy. Doing a lot of that can actually result in fatigue, feeling burnt out, a sense of spiritual depletion, a feeling of emptiness. These are all the things that result from constant people pleasing. You just feel exhausted, chronically exhausted. A great analogy, just to kind of sum up that part, is imagine pouring water into everyone else's cups, because there will always be more than one, and actually leaving yours empty. That's what it's like. It's always filling up everybody else's cups, running around filling up everybody else's cups and not filling up your own. Remember, people pleasing or pleasing people, I'm going to use both, is usually driven by fear. It's fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of criticism. This mindset pulls you away from loving yourself. And fear attracts more fear. So the more you get stuck in that cycle, the harder it is to get out. You'll notice that it pulls you more into overthinking. You're always thinking about, did I do that right or did I do that wrong? Should I have done it this way? Should I have done it that way? You're constantly worrying. You're always thinking about how others see you and how they perceive you. This is all just mental chatter. This is all removing you from your present moment. This is taking you out of the here. This is taking you out of the now. And this is disconnecting you from your spiritual connection, because it is only about you. We're not talking about you not loving the people around you and stop being that nurturing person, but you need to love yourself and you need to stop people pleasing so that you put yourself first. Because if you're not pleased, you're the one that's going to be feeling very, very empty in a way. Great ways of saying no is, I'm going to teach you. Great ways of saying no is, I can't commit to that right now, but thank you for thinking of me. Or let me get back to you. I just want to, check my schedule and see if I can actually do that for you. Or do you mind if we put that on off for another day when I can actually do that? Or do you mind if I get back to you sometime in the next couple of months or couple of weeks or couple of days? Or it's okay to give people boundaries on waiting for when you're going to be ready. Remember, setting those boundaries and sticking to them puts you first. That's self-love. And never forget, when you say no to others, that means you're saying yes to yourself. Really, really important. A really good way to reconnect with yourself is spending time in silence, spending time in nature, whatever works for you. I mean, I love going to the park personally, or the beach. I'm a bit of a tree toucher. I like to hug trees or touch trees or just put my hands on trees. Mostly put my hands on trees, probably more than hugging. Um, and that really grounds my soul. And that's really important, because when you can find what grounds your soul, you'll be able to reconnect with yourself and your inner voice. It's really important, because you're so worried constantly about others and what their needs are. Why don't you self-reflect and ask yourself, what do you want? What does your soul need right now? What would make you happy? What would fill your cup up? These are the important questions to ask. And really important, rather than getting reassurance from others, practice some affirmations. Tell yourself that you are enough just as you are, that your values come from within, not from others. Other people's opinions do not matter. Yours does. These are the important values you need to implement within yourself. And also setting your boundaries, understanding your worth, your self-worth, what you do bring to the table, and that you are lovable and you are more than enough for yourself and for everybody else. Shift your views from disappointing others to having faith in yourself. Stop thinking about how you serve others. The question is, how do you serve yourself? Trust yourself, live your authentic self, and audit your life. If people don't accept you for who you are, and they don't like the new version of you because you've decided to set boundaries, then they're not your people. That's really important to understand. I would love to hear from all of you who struggle in this area, because it's a very common area, especially for empaths. Um, and I can very much resonate with that. So I'd love to hear about your struggles and your successes from breaking free from people pleasing. So please do share that with me. Let me know, like, how did you tackle it? Where do you think you struggled with it? And where did you think you succeeded? I'd love to hear that. Thank you so much for joining me today on our podcast, or my podcast, on people pleasing or pleasing people, however you'd like to say it. And I hope I enlightened you guys to be able to see how important you are and how lovable and enough you are. Actually, more than enough. Thank you so much. Bye.